Good evening and welcome to the studio. I'm Zarganat. I've just got a fan under that. I've got a rotary fan underneath the desk. Which is kind of good practice for when or if I do the glass stuff. Because I probably would need that on a warm summer's evening. Not necessarily on a cold winter's night, but... Right, so, well, painting. And I've just realised I don't have the cab over here, so I'll just get it. So we've done an undercoat, a primer coat, a sealer coat on all of the paintwork that's here. So this is all white as opposed to cream. It's slightly rough, so providing a good key for the coat that's going to go on the top. So what I'm going to do is try something. Try something. Could be dangerous. Pearlized paint. I've never sprayed pearlized paint before. So I'm going to use, I think this is a 0.4 nozzle. So I'm going to be using my Eclipse, a watery Eclipse. I'm also going to use the compressor I've got here in the house rather than can't be bothered going into the garage to turn the big compressor on. Although there's possibly enough air in the tank in that to do it, but so I'm going to try pearlized paint. Since we're going to spray the insides rather than the outsides, we'll get to see what it looks like before we actually get to the point of spraying the fronts. So that I could always start again, clean the backs down and start again. So pearlized paint, got to give it a good shake. I've been shaking it for about quite some time. It has a ball bearing in it, that's the knocking you can hear, which is a ball bearing, which helps to mix the paint up. When you've got, so pearlized is usually like little metallic flakes and things. This is going to be fun. As I say, I've never sprayed it before, so we're about to see what I need to do. But first, swap glasses. So I've got pressure on the compressor. I don't want to use the trigger on this one, because I can imagine it's been quite difficult to clean out, but I just don't want to mix that much paint either. Yeah, so some of this, even, I suppose in theory I should mask some of this off, like that's an exhaust outlet, but we might overpaint that if necessary. I'm also thinking, have I got, maybe I don't, I may not have a clear coat for this, but that's something for later. This 2 days worth of spraying here. So and the next stream after tonight isn't going to be well next week, so I may have time to go out and get some spray it, but you won't be seeing me spray top coat on the stream. This bottle's never been opened. I know that because it's still got the cap on it. So nice metallic looking blue. That is probably going to, yeah, almost certainly. Put that away. So I shall put the cap on. I am not going to try and pour it out of the bottle. That would be silly. I'm also going to thin this down. So, in fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my other bottle of thinner out, or reducer. So I've got this stuff, 4011 reducer, but I've got it in a small bottle. It's a bit more convenient to handle it like that. So mind you, having said which, I'm going to be using a fair bit of it. So let's just mix that much. at least to start with. Yeah, might as well use this. So 50. Let's try going to about that. And I have a cocktail stick here, which I shall just break the end off. A trick I learned a while ago, it makes it easier to stir stuff if you break the end off. So the reducer is a thin. I forgot why it's called a reducer. Isn't that silly? I can't remember why it's called a reducer. But it's got a slight amount of alcohol in it, which helps with the tip dry as well. So clean that off there. Like that. Stay. Let me move that airbrush out of the way because I'm not using it. I'll put the airline on this one before I start because I'm not going to put I should find my cap. Haven't got it. Okay. Here we go. So awesome painting there. I am effectively using this straight from the bottle rather than mixing it on purpose, really, because I want a consistent colour. There we go. And I won't be able to do that as easily if I have to mix it. So we're going to start with the inside and try not to spray everything else in sight. You know what? I'll do the underside of this, but I don't want to do the seat this colour. He says, suddenly realising. Not bad. My hand's not bad either. Because I've managed not to go over the sides, which is kind of rather amazing. Now this compressor is only 2 litres of storage, so it will be turning on and off quite frequently. Now I am really rather amazed that I forgot that I don't want to do the seat the same colour. It probably wants to be a brown. And I probably also don't want to do the outside of the dashboard either in this blue, or maybe some of it. But the thought never occurred to me. Got to think of these things sometimes, you know. Now the compressor I'm using is my Wattage compressor, my studio compressor. So it's designed for airbrush use. It's also an oilless compressor, so there's no oil in it, which is fantastic for airbrushing, because it means you aren't going to get air in the lines and air into the paint stream. Sorry, air. You will get air, you won't get oil. Oil would tend to destroy the paint finish. Now generally I prefer using the trigger because I get cramp using this, but it's the nearest thing I can do. Oh, I have come over the side a little bit on that one. Oh well, never mind. I think these are, oh yeah, this is, this is what I'm doing. I'm not trying too hard to coat this in one go. If I have to come back and do another coat, I have to come back and do another coat. I'm using a latex glove here because, as you can see, I'm getting paint on my fingers, and it looks like I've got some spots on there, which is possibly a little bit of silicone mould release. You have to be really careful, especially with sort of metallic base paints, not to overspray because it runs a little bit. Yeah. Lots of light coats are a lot better than a heavy coat. That's on the inside, so I'm not fantastically worried. It's sort of underneath the body. Which is partly why I'm doing this. I'm learning the paint and also practicing again. So a long time since I've done this sort of spraying. I mean, this is kind of simpler than doing actual paint, portraits or scene painting, that sort of thing, than it would be if I was doing that. But all the same, it is a slightly different technique as well. You find while you're doing this, you start to open the airbrush valve, paint valve, more than you expect. One of the things to look for is tip dry. Should seem to be okay on that, or just blast it onto a piece of paper, not onto the work. If I'm doing a picture, then when it's on the easel, I generally have the sides masked off with masking tape just to create a frame, and that stuff gets covered in blobs of paint as I just blast the airbrush just to make sure the tip's clean. Steering wheel isn't going to be this colour. This is a seat mounting bracket, so it can be any colour. I'm going to do it metallic just because